Okay, hello and welcome to this tutorial. This is the next part of this tutorial series, and in this tutorial I'm going to be covering how to place lights and how to light up your cell and what different types of lights there are in this game engine. So let's get started. First, I have my tutorial cell already loaded up. As you can see, there's nothing in it, and if I hit the A key and I enable all the lights, you can see that there's no light in here except for the ambient light, which it's just a nice blue color to it. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to go into world objects and then go into light, and it shows me all the different types of lights that I have here. All of them do something kind of different, and I'm going to choose my flicker light right here because this is one that I've already made, and it's always good to, like, if you're working in this game engine and you want to place something, always, like for example this bounce ambient blue, and if I place this, if I try to edit it from here, go to edit base, and if I want to make my own light, I should rename this to something else. So I hit my light, ID, and I choose something like my bounce light blue so that I rename it. And be careful not to hit apply, because if I hit apply, it will change all the lights in the game. So I hit OK and I create a new form. Now I have a light of my own here, and all these lights, they kind of do something different. So as you can see, this one's red and this one's white. This one is a dynamic light and this one has dynamic shadows. So whatever is placed by them is going to have a shadow next to it. Like for example, let me just put this in here, and you can see it casts shadows, and this one does not. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these two lights, and so there's three basic types of lights. There's the ones that do not cast shadows, there's the ones that cast shadows, and there's something called a gobo. So those ones, basically what they do, let me go into miscellaneous to show an example. A great way to place lights, because they already created pack-ins for you, is to go into pack-ins and filter light, and you get all these different types of pack-ins that come with a mesh and come with a light already set up for you to place. So I'm going to choose let me go with fancy light, and with the fancy light, it's gonna give me this mesh. Let me just drag this into position here, and you see this one comes with a light that does not cast shadows and a light that does cast shadows, and also the mesh. So let me place this against the wall here. And so it's not important because this is just a tutorial. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. Okay, so there my pack-in is placed, and it came with these three things. And so this is the most easiest way to place lights and generally detail your map. So if I click on this light right here, I show its properties. This is a default light, warm, 0001, no shadow, specular, and I hit the S key while I'm dragging the mouse, and right mouse button, I can change the scale or the radius of my light. So I just wanted to stay something like that, and so that I don't have to edit this light right here, I go into light data, and right here choose fade so that I make it less bright. So if I choose fade 1, it's going to make it a lot brighter, as I'll show you right now. Well, not a lot brighter. For 3, it's going to be a lot brighter. So this thing, because I want this to have a higher radius, as if, you know, this light right here, this one that's casting shadows, it's also bouncing off the walls and lighting up a little bit more of the area. So I'm going to choose fade of 2. That's going to make it really dark, but just change the radius up a little bit. And this one that casts shadows, make it smaller, something like that. Okay, that looks good. And so yeah, so that's how you place pack-ins with lights. I'm also going to show what the gobo does. A good example of that would be the fire barrel, and this one, the grating gobo. Drag this in here, and you could see this one, it has that I don't know, the grating effect on it, and it comes with 2 lights. These ones don't actually cast shadows, so it's just creating that effect on its own from the light itself. See, I can if I hit the 1 key and I push it twice, I make that disappear. It's this light that's causing that. So that's what gobo does. And hit the alternate 1 key to reveal it again. So those are the basic 3 types of lights that you have. The ones that cast shadows, the ones that don't cast shadows, and the ones that have that effect on it. And they all have different types of effects. Some have like effects that look like the water's rippling and stuff like that. And okay, so I was going to go back to this light. And this light, I'm going to say that I want to make this light flicker. So I'm going to go back to my flicker light. And close this, delete it, and choose my flicker light. And this one is blue. I'll edit the base and I'll change the color. Since this is my light right here, and this one is just specific to this mod, it's not going to affect any of these other lights that are already in the game. And don't pay attention to this. This seems to be just kind of a bug. See, it says 4,000. I mean 4 million whatever. That's just a bug. I don't know why it does that. And I'm gonna have this light create a kind of yellowish color. So hit apply. I don't like that color too much. I'll just tweak it a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to want to have this light flicker, so that's already set up. And the period, I should put something like 1, no, 2, 3 is a little bit too high. It's going to flicker too slow. And the amplitude, maybe around 1.5. And the movement, none, because this is not a candle. This is a light that's placed on the wall. So I hit apply, I hit OK. And there, my light is placed. Hit Control S to save it, and let me see if no, it's not going to show it up. Show it in game. So I place these lights. Remember, when lighting these cells of yours, light placement is very important, because even the emptiest of cells can look really pretty with good lighting. And the most complex of cells can look really crappy with poor lighting. So lighting is very important. I'm going to Control D these, which duplicates them, and I'm going to move this a little bit over like this. And I'll just do this a couple of times. Continue lighting up my map, while at the same time I'm also putting these meshes, which details the map a little bit. Or the cell. Okay, and do that again. And if I hit the right mouse button while I'm dragging, it rotates the whole thing. So I'm selecting all these, hitting control. Okay, so there. All of that's placed. It's actually not placed right. I'm not going to worry about that because I just don't care. Okay, so I'm going to select all these. And light up this room as well. Okay, so now both my rooms are kind of lit. And I'm going to take these pack-ins and I'm going to drag in a little bit more. I'll make a copy of that, Control C and Control V. Place this over here. And so, there it is. My two cells are lit. And this thing probably should be more to this side. And if I want to change the scale or change the radius, just left click and hold S on the light that you want to set the radius to. And so I think that's good enough. So there, my light is sort of placed, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna check it out in game. Okay, so here I am in the tutorial cell, and as you can see, all the lights are placed. Here I have my door to the Commonwealth, and all the lights are flickering. This thing is showing that, and also I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see the shadows. I think it's too high. Oh yeah, sort of. There it is on the floor. From these shadow casting lights, and so the rooms are sort of lit up. And that's how you place lights. So, okay, so back in the editor, and I reloaded my creation kit because that weird bug that I had that showed like 4 million whatever, and you can see it's behaving like normal now. You see that I didn't use any of these lights, and it's good if you ever run into this bug. It's good to just reload the creation kit and make sure that you did not overwrite any of these lights, because if you overwrite these lights, then all the lights in the game are going to be changed. So always, if you want to make a new light that flickers or is pulsating or something like that, or just a different color, always make a duplicate copy of that light. Don't replace it, unless you're doing like a complete overhaul mod or something where you want to replace the lights. Okay, so here I am in the cell, and placing lights. It's very easy as just dragging them in there, and or placing pack-ins if you want. And another trick to do is, let's say you want to have lights coming in through the window or something like that. So I'm going to hold alternate, and I'm going to use my mouse wheel to scroll through these different types of wall meshes that are here. There's one right here. I could use this. And I'll use this one because I can place like some kind of glass mesh over that window frame. So in order to do that, there's already pack-ins, so I don't have to create it from scratch. Go into here, filter light again, and the plug, I believe, is plug the very first one, C, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this one works just fine. But let me set this right so that I don't have to that I won't mess up the rotation like I did with these, because then it won't align properly with the wall. So go here into these properties and select snap reference, and I'll select this wall and hit OK. I always click apply just to be absolutely positively sure. Probably don't have to do that, but it doesn't matter. So here, let me enable the rotation snapping, and rotate that into position, and also move that into position. I should probably do this snapping as well. I actually have it backwards. Because this spotlight is going to be what's going to be going through this this window mesh. Okay, so sort of in position. Let me delete this so that I have just this mesh right here that I want to use. I mean, that's not really all that important, but as you could see, now the light is going through the mesh, and it's creating that that window effect. And this one is also a gobo plug, which I believe stands for global illumination or something. And that's pretty much it. This thing, I'm not going to mess with that. I could tweak it if I want. It has a fade of 14, which is actually kind of high. Let me put it to 7. As you can see, it's still pretty bright. And put this closer up against the wall and change the radius. So there, a little bit of tweaking on that, and you can make windows and just copy that over. And just do the same over here. Hit Control and select them all. Control D to duplicate. And it looks like I forgot the spotlight thing, this thing. I'll move this over into position. If it's not properly aligned, well then just tweak it until you're satisfied with it, and there. And that looks pretty cool. If I want to make this a little bit more closer to just the window and not this far, and turn off the rotation snapping, and whoops, hold the right mouse button to rotate it around, and I'll hold the C key and I'll just rotate it lower like so, or further like this, but that looks horrible. Yeah, like that. Okay, that looks good enough. I'll save it, and that's it. Also, these things already, I believe they're set up for you. If they're not, there's something called external emittance that will use the light that's from outside. Yes, it says FX light region sunlight white. And so if I change the time of day, if I hit FX, it will either show night or it'll show day. And you can see all the lights are flickering and stuff like that. So everything is working the way that it should. So yeah, that's it. And if I go into external emittance and I remove that, only the light on, only this light will change, and that light will stay the same. So that's pretty much it. I hope you learned something, and that's how you place lights. Just develop good practice and just experiment with what kind of lights that you like. And that's it. That's it for this tutorial. If you appreciate what I'm doing here, you could check out my Patreon at www.patreon.com/Northern Springs. It is a DLC-sized mod, which adds a whole new area for you to explore and find new stories, pretty much everything. For only $1 a month, you can help me so I can grow and continue doing this. If you want to download any of my mods, there are links in the description below.